Jim Hegan will be the next batter. Robinson lined a solid single into right field. One of the most solid hits of the ball game and his 5th of the series in 19 trips. Jim Hegan has 1 hit. He singled to left in the 2nd inning, then he went down swinging in the 4th inning. Boiselle takes his stretch. He throws it. There's a ground ball, and that one goes to Elliott. Elliott throws to second to first, and it is dropped, and it is 3-1. Stanky's throw to first base was poor. It was high. It struck the heel of Earl Torgeson's glove, and he knocked it down as the Braves blew a perfect opportunity to retire the side with a double play. Tucker scored on Hegan's fielder's choice. No error is charged. Hegan is given credit for driving in a run. He's on first base with 2 men out. The play was 5-4. Elliott to Stanky, and Bob Lemon comes up. Boiselle, with luck, could have been out of the inning, but the Braves have consistently been unable to match Cleveland's double plays. Here's the pitch. There goes a ground ball right to Torgeson. He steps on first to retire the side as Bob Lemon goes right after that first pitch. 2 runs for Cleveland in the inning. 2 hits, no errors, a base on balls, and a runner left. And at the end of 5.5 innings of play, the score is Cleveland 3, Boston 1. When a ball player gets a hold of a bat that bangs out hits, he doesn't want to part with it. That's the way Eddie Pellegrini of the St. Louis Browns felt about his veteran Gillette razor until... But here's Eddie to tell you the story.
Hello, fans. I always thought my old Gillette razor was tops until on the train one morning recently, I tried a friend's new Super Speed razor.
And you liked it?
I sure did. In fact, I bought one for myself as soon as we got to Chicago.
Are you still sold on it?
Jim, I wouldn't part with it if I couldn't get another just like it.
Fans, you'll say the same when you try the modern Gillette Super Speed razor that changes blades instantly and makes shaving a cinch. Buy one with a 10-blade dispenser, a big $1.50 value for only $1. Cleveland came up with 2 runs in the first half of the 6th inning as Joe Gordon hit his 4th World Series home run, his first in this one, and the Braves missed a double play. So Cleveland now has 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors, 6 men left, and Lemon is within 1 run of facing an exactly similar situation to game number 2, in which he was the winner by a 4-1 score. Bob Elliott is the batter. He had 2 home runs yesterday to tie the all-time National League World Series record, and he has 2 infield hits today. There's a drive to right center field. It's in there, perhaps for extra bases. But Doby goes over fast, cuts it down, and guns the throw into Gordon as Elliott goes back to first. A fine defensive play by Doby, who ranged from right field into right center to hold Elliott to his 3rd straight single. Elliott on first base. There's warm-up activity again in the Cleveland bullpen as Marv Rickard comes up. And mindful of the fact that he hit a home run a little bit earlier in the series, the Boston Braves partisans are beginning to whoop it up a little. Rickard is a left-hander. Here's the pitch. There's a ground ball. It goes to Gordon. Gordon throws to Boudreau. Boudreau back to first. Double play. And Cleveland has come up with its 8th double play of the series. 5 of them back of Bob Lemon, by the way. That Cleveland double play combination has been brilliant. 3 double plays in support of Lemon today, and 2 in the 2nd game of the series. That one was Gordon to Boudreau to Robinson. So there are 2 men out, and the batter is Bill Salkeld. Bill has drawn 5 bases on balls in the series. He has a home run. He's a left-handed batter, and the first pitch is a fastball that just fires its way over the plate. Feller, Gromek, and Kleiman are all out in the bullpen, available for relief duty in the event they're needed, and they have warmed up at various times. Feller usually warms up nearly every day. He believes in taking some regular pitching exercise, so that is in no way a hint that he may see service in the event Lemon weakens. Lemon so far has shown not the slightest hint that he will do so. He delivers. There's a ground ball that goes to Gordon. Joe is up with it. He waits for Robinson to cover and throws Salkeld out. 4-3, 2nd to 1st. Mr. Gordon was the star of that half inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, none left. So in 6 innings, the Braves have 1 run, 6 hits, and they have left 5 men on base. And Mr. Bob Elliott has had half of the 6 hits with 3 singles, and he scored the only run. The first scoring took place in the third inning when Mitchell led off with a double inside the left field line. After Doby went out, he held second, but then Boudreau hit a fly ball down the right field line, and Holmes, after a hard run, dropped it for a two-base hit. The Braves tied the score in the fourth inning when, with one out, Elliott beat out a slow roller down the third base line. Rickert flied to left, Salkeld walked, and McCormick singled. And then Cleveland took a 3-1 lead in the sixth inning. Now we pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
You'll hear Queen for a Day immediately following today's World Series game over WOR, New York.
This is Jim Britt back at Braves Field on the banks of the Charles River in Boston, where the sixth World Series game score stands Cleveland 3, Boston Braves 1. Cleveland was confident of wrapping it up yesterday, but the Braves erupted with a display of power that was unprecedented in this series. Dale Mitchell is the leadoff batter. He has a double in 3 trips. He's the Cleveland left fielder. Bill Voiselle still on the mound for the Braves. And there goes a fly ball to right center field. Mike McCormick goes back, stands and waits for it. He takes it for the first out. A routine fly ball. That's the second time Mitchell has flied out to center field. But over in the Boston Braves bullpen, Spahn and Barrett are warming up. That obviously is because Voiselle is slated to be the 7th Boston batter in the last half of the 7th inning. Larry Doby, the batter. Voiselle, in 4 tries, has been able to retire him only once. He's hit twice and walked once. Ball 1. One ball, no strikes. There goes a drive to center field, a hard line smash that drops safely, and it's a base hit. That's the 3rd hit for Doby off Voiselle. And incidentally, it gives Larry a total of 7 hits in the series, which, if my record is correct, is tops. Elliott has 7 now, too. Elliott and Doby are tied with 7 hits. Lou Boudreau, the batter. He doubled in the first Cleveland run. He's a right-hander. There's a pitch out, but no throw was made to first as Doby bluffed a steal. Doby is very fast. The attendance is 40,103. That's capacity here at Braves Field. 1 ball, no strikes. The pitch, low inside. The count, 2 balls, no strikes. It looked for an instant as though Boudreau was either going to bunt or intended to bluff a bunt, even with 1 out. Boudreau was hit right on the small of the back by one of Voiselle's pitches in the first inning. Then he doubled down the line in right field to drive in a run in the 3rd, and he hoisted a fly to left in the 5th inning. So he has 1 out of 2 officially today, and 6 out of 21 in the series. Doby is bluffing, and he is almost picked off. A fast throw over to first base, and he got back by 1 hand. He didn't slide, he just fell forward and grabbed the bag. The outfield is set to the left. Voiselle is standing back of the rubber. Now he toes it, takes a stretch. As Doby starts edging off, he draws another throw, but gets back easily this time, under Mel Harder's instructions. And time is called for an instant as Doby goes off the bag. And as he ties a shoelace on his right baseball shoe, Mel Harder kneels down and confers with him. 2 balls, no strikes. 1 man out, Doby on first. The 7th inning, Cleveland leading 3-1. Here's the pitch. There's a ground foul down the 3rd base line. That one missed being an extra base hit by a margin of about 3 feet. Cleveland scored 1 run in the 3rd, and 2 of the fans that time were so eager to capture that souvenir ball out on the field that they fell right over the flag-draped bunting and got it, of course. The count, 2 balls, 1 strike. The great Cleveland manager is having a good series for himself. Boudreau bats from that crouch. Voiselle stretches. There goes the runner, and a foul ball will bring him back. A high foul out of play to run the count to 2-2. Doby turned around and started back and was halfway back to first base even before the ball dropped down in the first base line. 2 strikes, 2 balls the count. Today, possibly it's because today's crowd is just a little less than half of yesterday's, the excitement of the 2 dugouts even seems to be missing. There's not much chatter, except some occasional bench jockeying. 2-2 the count. The pitch. There's a ground ball. It goes to Elliott. Elliott throws to Stanky. That's 1. Stanky to first. Double play. Elliott to Stanky to Torgeson, and the Braves have finally managed to complete an around-the-horn double play for their third twin kill of the series. And everybody is up now as the stretch half of the seventh occurs. At the end of 6.5 innings of play, the score is Cleveland 3, Boston Braves 1. Last inning, you heard Eddie Pellegrini of the St. Louis Browns say he thought his old Gillette was tops until he tried a friend's Gillette Super Speed razor. Fans, it stands to reason that over the years, Gillette technicians have made many improvements in the convenience and shaving qualities of Gillette razors. Yes, and if you're not using the improved Gillette Super Speed razor, you can't imagine what you're missing. This is the easiest shaving, most convenient razor ever. Among other features, it has a notched positioning bar for use with a Gillette dispenser. Just zip out a blade, hook it in place, twist the handle, and the razor closes. Beautifully designed, superbly made, this is a precision instrument. It can't jam, can't clog, and you don't have to be a locksmith to change blades instantly. Enjoy modern shaving satisfaction. Get a Gillette Super Speed razor plus 10-blade Gillette dispenser. A big $1.50 value for $1. Cleveland collected no runs, 1 hit in that seventh inning, left no one on. The Indians have a total of 3 runs, 7 hits so far in this game. And the leadoff batter to oppose Bob Lemon in the seventh will be Mike McCormick, who has 1 hit and 2 trips, 6 out of 21. And it was he who scored Bob Elliott with the Braves' only run in the fourth. The Braves trail 1-3. Lemon pitches, and it's a strike called. It's getting very cloudy overhead, very dark and somewhat ominous looking, as though there will be, after all, a threat of rain. 1 strike the count. Lemon takes his windup, and McCormick looks at one outside. That was a curveball, the count 1 ball, 1 strike. Actually, although he has yielded an earned run in this game, Lemon has been just about as effective in this one as he was in the first, when he allowed 8 hits but scattered them. Bob takes his windup, pitches, swing and a miss. He broke off a curveball, let her high near the outside, and the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes. Billy Southworth is coaching at third base. Freddie Fitzsimmons is doing the coaching at first. Lefty Warren Spahn and Red Barrett are still the Braves' warm-up pitchers. The windup, but before Lemon could start to pitch, McCormick stepped out. Bill Summers called time. Mike indicated that he had something in his eye. Lemon standing on the rubber, gets a sign. Here's the pitch. Outside. Curveball that missed the outside corner. Not by much. 2-2 the count. Eddie Stanky is in the on-deck circle, and there will doubtless be a pinch hitter for Big Bill Voiselle in this frame, since he is scheduled to be the third batter. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Lemon fired a fastball, and that is his first strikeout of this game. He saved it for the stretch half of the seventh inning. Eddie Stanky hasn't had an opportunity to hit in this game. He has walked twice and has been left stranded both times. In the third inning, he got as far as third base on a bunt and a single. And then in the fourth inning, he got just as far as first. He's a right-hander. He swings and misses. That's about as hard as you'll see Stanky swing. He went after a curveball. 1 strike the count. 1 man out, and the Braves trail 1-3. This is another of the low-scoring games, with defense the outstanding factor. Lemon winds up, pitches, outside. He wastes that one, and the count is 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. The outfield set to the left. Billy Southworth is hopeful of sending this into a 7th and final World Series game, but Boudreau is supremely confident. Strike called. A fastball for called strike 2, and the count is 1-2. Feller and Gromek are warming up for Cleveland as a precautionary measure. There's no one on. Lemon is in no trouble in this frame. He's yielded at least 1 hit in every inning save the 5th. He pitches. There's a slow roller that goes to third base. Keltner comes up, is off balance, throws, and he gets it. Bill Stewart held up his decision, seemed to be weighing it for an instant, and then gave the out sign. Stanky's speed has been reduced as a result of the injury, and that was accountable for the fact that he was unable to beat that out since it was bobbled briefly by Keltner. Buck McCormick is going to bat for Bill Voiselle.
Frank McCormick, number 6, batting for Boiselle.
Frank McCormick has a batting average of .250. He's had 1 hit in 4 trips. And that means that either Warren Spahn or Red Barrett is likely to come in and replace Bill Boiselle in the 8th inning. 2 men out as McCormick faces Lemon. Lemon, incidentally, has allowed only 1 hit over the last 3 full innings. He pitches and throws a sidearm pitch outside for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. The Braves haven't been able to find the range on the fences in their own ballpark, but they did so yesterday at Cleveland. Joe Gordon, however, found the range for his 4th World Series home run today in the 6th inning. There's a ground ball to Keltner, right back of the bag. He looks it over, fires to first in time for the out. He seems to be reading the signature on it for an instant before unloading. So that's a 1-2-3 inning for Lemon. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. And at the end of 7 innings of play, the Boston Braves trail by a score of 1-3. Warren Spahn goes over to get his jacket out of the bullpen, and it is he who is being called in for the 2nd consecutive day in a relief role. Yesterday, his pitching was superb. He allowed a double to Lou Boudreau, but he struck out 5 of the last 6 men at Cleveland in one of the all-time great clutch exhibitions of World Series history. To refresh your memory, yesterday, when he came into the ball game, the bases were empty with 1 out in the 4th inning. He got by the first batter, Bob Feller, then walked a man, and then in his last 5 1/3 innings, he struck out 7, and in the 8th inning, he struck out Gordon, Keltner, and Boone in order. Then in the 9th inning, after Robinson had flied out, he fanned Hegan and Joe Tipton in succession. The score is Cleveland, 3 runs, 7 hits, no errors. The Boston Braves, 1 run, 6 hits, and no errors. Spahn will have to oppose Gordon, Keltner, and Tucker. He didn't pitch to Tucker yesterday, by the way, but the first time he faced Gordon and Keltner, he struck them out. Yesterday, he wasn't throwing his curveball for much purpose other than that of wasting it. He was keeping the Indians constantly guessing by an assortment of slow and fast stuff. He was changing up. His fastball was extremely effective. And 2 or 3 of the Clevelanders afterwards said that his pitching had been tougher than any they'd seen in this series. Cleveland has had some great pitching performances, and there have been 3 shutouts, you recall. The authors were Sane, Bearden, and Gromek in that order. Joe Gordon has 1 hit in 3 trips today, his 4th World Series home run. He's a right-hander. Spahn gets set. Here's the pitch. And there goes a drive towards left field. Rickert goes over fast, takes it, falls down, rolls over, and holds it. A fine play. And it happened almost under the feet of the National League left field foul judge umpire Babe Pinelli. And there, incidentally, is another reason why having those umpires stationed out on the line is an excellent idea, because Pinelli was only 10 feet away from Rickert when he described a somersault, and he was perfectly positioned to see that he had held the ball. Keltner, the batter. Keltner has no hits in 3 trips. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. He guessed. He seemed to guess on that. He held his swing until the last instant and then swung very quickly at a fastball. 1 strike. The outfield is deep to the left. Spahn delivers. Throws another fastball outside, and the count is 1-1. Red Barrett continues to warm up for the Boston Braves, and Vernon Bickford is also loosening up. Spahn takes his windup with 1 out and none on. There's a ground ball that bounces away from Spahn. Dark picks it up, throws to first, not in time, and it's scored base hit. That's the 2nd hit he's allowed in a relief role. It bounded away from Spahn, was picked up on the dead run by Al Dark, and Keltner has just collected his 2nd hit of the series. He now has a total of 2 hits in 21 trips, but there were 19 unsuccessful at-bats in between. He had one of the series' most dismal slumps. Thurman Tucker, the center fielder, up. He fouled to third base, grounded to second, walked, and scored the third run. There goes a drive to right field. It's in there. Tommy Holmes fields it on the dead run and holds the runners to first and second. He stepped right into that very first pitch that was fired to him by Warren Spahn, and now Eddie Robinson comes up with runners on first and second. Spahn is not the puzzle to the Indians this afternoon that he was yesterday. Yesterday, Lou Boudreau was the only hitter, getting a double in the eighth inning, and then the next three men were struck out. But now, with one out, and it took a fine catch by Rickert to retire Gordon, Robinson is up with two men on. He has 1 out of 3. Eddie is a left-hander. Strike called. That was a slow curveball that came over. Keltner on second base, Tucker on first base. And the Indians are in scoring position again. They now have 9 hits, 1 hit more than they had behind Lemon in his first victory. Spahn takes a stretch, looks at second, pitches, threw a curveball that missed the outside corner, and the count is 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bill McKechnie holds up one finger to be certain that the runners realize the situation is 1 out. Tucker has a man-sized lead at first. Keltner takes a longer one. Here it comes. There's a drive that goes into right field for a base hit. And here comes Keltner sprinting for the plate with a 4th Indian run. Runners are on first and third as 3 consecutive hits rattle off Warren Spahn's delivery, and Cleveland takes a lead of 4-1. That was Robinson's 6th hit of the series. Keltner scored. Tucker went all the way to third base. And we're looking down below to see whether or not Billy Southworth intends to make an appearance. Jim Hegan is getting ready to bat, and Spahn apparently is going to stay in. Cleveland leads 4-1. That was the score by which Lemon won the second game. Spahn takes a stretch. Here it comes. Outside, fastball. Tucker on third base, Robinson on first base. And Robinson's line drive was well over Torgeson's head down the right field line, with Holmes running fast to cover. 1 ball, no strikes. There's a throw to first base. Robinson is back in time under Mel Harder's shout of "Look out." This is the gloomiest day we've had. It has turned into it, weather-wise. Another throw to first base, but Robinson is back easily. Cleveland now has 4 runs, 10 hits. And the Indians are still in a rallying position. The outfield is deep to the left. The pitch, swing and a miss. That was a fastball, and the count is 1-1. The Indians broke a 1-run tie, which lasted through the first 5 innings of play. Time called for an instant. Lou Boudreau hollered from the dugout as Hegan got ready to step out. And then Bill Summers insisted that the pitcher wait. The infield is in. The stretch, the pitch, swing and a miss. That was a fastball, letter high to the outside, and the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes. The situation in the 6th game of the World Series is inning number 8. Thanks to that fine catch by Rickert, who held the ball off Gordon's bat after somersaulting, Spahn has been touched up so far for only 1 run. This could have been a very sizable inning, and still may be. Hegan stepped out of the box, rubbed some dirt into his hands, is back in again. He's a tall, well-built, good-looking catcher with a great future. Spahn is ready. Swing and a miss for strike 3. A fastball. That's the 3rd Cleveland strikeout of the game. Bob Lemon is coming out of the dugout to bat. He has been a great competitor in this series. In 16 innings, the Braves have reached him for only 2 runs, 1 of them unearned. And in 16 innings, if you're further interested, he has scattered 14 hits. And that is mightily effective pitching on any occasion. Warren Spahn takes his stretch. Robinson has a long lead, and he dares him to pick him off. The throw is to the plate, and they have Tucker trapped off. Here's the throw, and he's out. He tried to knock the ball out of Salkeld's hands with a rush, and I'm afraid that Tucker's glasses were broken. He smashed into Salkeld. The play, incidentally, went from Spahn to Torgeson to Salkeld to Elliott to Salkeld, who tagged Tucker, and I fear Tucker's glasses were broken on the play. So at the end of 7.5 innings of play, the score is Cleveland 4, Boston Braves 1. Men, think of getting a world-famous Gillette Tech razor with 5 Gillette blue blades for only 49 cents. Believe me, that's a lot for the money. With the Gillette Tech, you get shaves that are smooth, clean, and refreshing. That's why more men shave with this razor than with all other makes combined. The Gillette Tech has a solid bar guard that sets up whiskers as a barber does. Its non-skid tread protects you from nicks and cuts. The blade is held rigidly, eliminating edge vibration. The Tech is non-clogging, rinses instantly. Yes, fans, the Gillette Tech is a terrific shaving bargain. So to enjoy real shaving comfort and save money, buy a Gillette Tech razor with 5 Gillette blue blades at the amazingly low price of 49 cents. The Cleveland Indian bat boy has gone to the clubhouse to return with a new pair of eyeglasses for Thurman Tucker. What happened on the play was this. Eddie Robinson, who was on first base, presumably dared Spahn to pick him off. The Indian strategy was designed to make Spahn throw to first base to give Tucker a chance to score at the plate if anything went awry. But Earl Torgeson very quickly threw the ball home. They may be asking the Boston Braves whether or not they will permit a courtesy player to go into center field until Tucker gets his eyeglasses. What happened is Bill Summers has explained to Billy Southworth that he wants the game to be held up until Tucker's glasses arrive, and the bat boy has just come out with them to save the day. Tucker appeared to be cut very slightly. The crowd is giving him the treatment because of the way he ran into the catcher, but that's baseball. The idea was for him to try to score on the play. The play, by the way, was Spahn, the pitcher, to Torgeson, the first baseman, to the catcher, Bill Salkeld, to Elliott, the third baseman, back to Salkeld, who got the putout, and Robinson, who had gotten to second base, was not credited with a steal. Cleveland leads by a score of 4-1, and Tommy Holmes is the batter in the last half of the 8th inning. Lemon pitches, and there's a drive that goes to center field for a base hit. Holmes leads off with his second hit of the ball game. That is hit number 7 for the Boston Braves, and it's Holmes' 5th hit of the series. It brings up Alvin Dark. He beat out a bunt his first time at bat, was doubled up as Torgeson flied to Tucker, who made a sensational catch and throw to first. Then he hit into a double play and grounded back to the mound. Dark is a right-hander. Here it comes. Strike called. Feller and Gromek are warming up in the Cleveland bullpen. Cleveland has a 4-1 lead in the last half of the 8th inning as the Braves try to stage a desperation rally in an effort to push the series into a 7th and deciding game. Otherwise, this is the clinching victory as far as Cleveland is concerned. The outfield is set to the left. The infield in a little. Outside, that was a slider, and the count is 1-1. Dark started to go after it, held away from it. Lemon throws a slider sparingly. A sinker ball is his stock and trade, and he has an excellent one. Ray Scarborough was telling me about it a while back. Here's the pitch. Strike called. That caught the outside corner. Dark let it come, and the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes. Dark has had 3 hits in 23 appearances in the series. Ken Keltner is standing just inside the third base line, guarding it very closely. Tommy Holmes is being held right close at first base by Eddie Robinson. Here's the pitch. There's a drive that goes to right field. Doby comes in fast. He takes it, and Holmes has to go back. Dark was trying to hit the ball into right field, but it stayed up in the air long enough for Doby to make the play. Gene Bearden has joined Feller and Gromek in a warm-up capacity. So there's 1 out in the Braves' 8th inning, and Earl Torgeson comes up. The Braves need 3 runs to push this game into a tie status. Torgeson, who was the top batter of the series for the Braves, has no hits in 3 trips today. Lemon has slowed him down. He's a left-handed batter. And he hits a drive down the right field line. That is in there for extra bases. There goes Holmes to third base. Torgeson going to second base, sliding in safely. Torgeson, with a double to right, has moved Holmes to third. Lemon is going to stay in. Boudreau has already given him a reassuring pat on the back. Torgeson just collected his third double, his seventh hit, to tie Bob Elliott and Larry Doby. And with Bob Elliott up, Bob has 3 consecutive singles. 2 of them infield hits. He has scored the Boston run. The catch that Doby made at the expense of Dark now looms as mightily important, because with Dark trying to hit the ball into right field on the hit and run, Doby came in fast and spirited and turned Holmes back. There's 1 out, 2 on. That was right up close to the ears for ball 1, a high, fast one. 1 ball, no strikes. Cleveland has 4 runs, 10 hits. The Braves have 1 run, 8 hits. That's the total to which they were held by Lemon in his second winning game of 4-1. He stands on the rubber. He's taking plenty of time. He's very deliberate. He winds up. He pitches and throws a sidearm pitch inside. That was a fastball, 2-0. Elliott is up there hopeful that the same kind of a pitching mistake that Bob Feller twice made against him yesterday will be repeated. And Lemon is bearing down all the harder, determined not to do so. 2 balls, no strikes. Here it comes. High, ball 3. 3-0. And Feller, Dromack, and Bearden just got a sign via the relay system to the bullpen to bear down a little more vigorously, as Lou Boudreau turned and looked out to the left of the flagpole where the Cleveland bullpen is hidden. 3-0 the count. Here's the windup. Strike calls. Elliott was almost down on 1 knee that time, attempting to distract the pitcher, Bob Lemon, so that he would throw him ball 4. It's a 3-1 situation, with Holmes on third base, Torgeson on second base. Lemon standing on the mound. Elliott uses a very close stance, and they play him to pull the ball well to left. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. Fast ball that came blazing like a streak right over the plate. And Elliott took a savage cut at it to run the string to 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes the count. Elliott waiting for the pitch, and the crowd now is hanging on the edges of its seats. Here it comes. Ball 4 to fill the bases. That was inside. That's the 4th base on balls off Lemon. And with the bases loaded and 1 out for the Braves, manager Lou Boudreau calls a halt. He raised his hand on high, comes in a way that would indicate there's going to be a new pitcher. He takes the ball from Lemon. Bill Summers makes a sign to the bullpen, and the right field foul line umpire, Joe Paparella, goes over to be certain that the new pitcher comes in promptly. So Lemon is driven out after 7 1/3 innings of his second World Series game, and Gene Bearden, who authored a 5-hit 2-0 shutout against the Boston Braves, is going to come in. So there is a possibility that Rickert, a left-hander, will be replaced.
Attention, please. Gene Bearden.
There's the announcement.
Something for Cleveland.
Gene Bearden, who is the great, courageous left-hander. He survived a torpedoed American naval ship in Kula Gulf. He still carries some of the steel that was necessary to reinforce a fractured knee and an injured skull. He's a tremendously likable left-hander. And you'll recall that he pitched a 5-hit shutout against the Boston Braves on the 8th of October. And in that game, 1 Brave reached third, and only 2 other Braves got as far as second base. Clint Knatzer, a Texan and a Braves outfielder, has a bat in his hand down in the Boston Braves dugout, Billy Southworth has moved in, and he just nodded his head to him, and Knatzer is going to come up and bat in place of left-handed Marv Rickert. The bases are loaded with one out for the Boston Braves in the 8th inning, and Cleveland leads 4-1. The condition of the playing field here at Braves Field, notwithstanding the fact that there have been some football games played on it, was put into excellent World Series condition by Al Oliver and his capable crew of groundskeepers. Clint Knatzer. They've just made the announcement. And for the benefit of those who didn't already recognize him, the information, together with his numeral, came over the public address system. There's one man out, and Cleveland has a 4-1 lead. Here's the windup. Bearden gets set. There goes the drive to center field. Going back for it is Tucker. He takes it, and here comes Holmes sprinting in with a run. There goes Torgeson on his way to third base. That was a wicked smash that went straight away to center field, and Holmes came in after the catch. Macy is going to come up in place of Salkeld. And Lou Boudreau comes in to say something to Jim Hegan, the catcher. The score is 4-2.
Phil Macy, number 10. Batting for Salkeld.
There are runners on first and third. Torgeson moving up on that wicked smash, and it was well tagged. It was a low line drive, and Tucker was able to get back under it. It was hit straight away to center field. Macy has scored a run, but he has no hits in 7 trips in this series. Billy Southworth is pulling all the strings he knows how. This is Bearden's second appearance of the series. 2 men are out. Cleveland leads by a score of 4-2. Macy stands very close to the plate. He's up in front of it, as a matter of fact. Inside, ball 1. And waiting hopefully in the on-deck area is Mike McCormick, who drove in the first Boston run of the game. Cleveland broke a tie with 2 runs in the 6th inning. One of them was Joe Gordon's home run, his first of the series, his 4th in World Series competition. The Indians added another run in the top half of the 8th inning. There's the stretch. Bearden gets set. He pitches. There goes a drive down the left field line, and the ball is off the wall. It is 4-3, and it is a double. Runners on second and third. Phil Macy made a bid for a home run and hit a long double over left fielder Dale Mitchell's head off the left field wall. Bearden will stay in. There are runners on second and third. Elliott was held up because Mitchell played the ball superbly, and had Elliott attempted to score, he would have been out at the plate. But the Braves are within 1 run of a tie. 2 men are out, and Mike McCormick comes up. McCormick has an opportunity to break the ball game wide open. And a new left fielder is going to go into the ball game. Kennedy will go to left. Kennedy has a strong throwing arm, a very strong throwing arm, and that obviously is accountable for the maneuver. Bob Kennedy has been used in the series before. Matter of fact, he drove in a run, but he has been sent previously to right field. Now Kennedy is in left field, Tucker in center, and Doby in right, with Mike McCormick up. McCormick has 6 hits and 22 trips. He's a right-handed batter opposing left-handed Gene Bearden, with Macy and Elliott on second and third. Strike called. The first pitch was a fastball that caught the outside corner. This is the 8th inning, and the Braves have fought their way back to within 1 run of a tie. Here it comes. There's a ground ball. Back to Bearden. He waits for Robinson to cover. Fires to first to retire the rally. Right back to the mound as McCormick tried to hit one through the middle. 2 runs, 3 hits. No errors, 1 walk. 2 runners were left on base. And at the end of 8 innings of play, Cleveland has 4 runs, 10 hits, no errors. The Braves have 3 runs, 9 hits and no errors. Now we pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.
This is WOR, New York, the mutual station that brings you the World Series and other top sports events the year round.
Gene Bearden is scheduled to be the first batter in the ninth inning, and then he'll be followed by Bob Kennedy and Larry
Attention,
Doby.
please, for the Braves. Mike McCormick, number 31. playing
Mike
left
McCormick
field.
has moved over to left field for the Boston Braves if you're scoring the game, and Knatzer
Number 19,
has gone into center field, but he is in the batting order in place of Marv Rickert.
Catching.
And Phil Macy, of course, who came through with a pinch double. His first hit of the series, by the way, is doing the catching. So the Braves have a revised batting order and a lineup as well. Knatzer is in center field, and Mike McCormick, who was in center field, has moved over to left. Phil Macy is the new catcher, and the first batter scheduled to come up for Cleveland is Gene Bearden. You'll recall Bob Lemon was at bat in the eighth inning when the Indians, with Robinson breaking from first, risking a pickoff, tried to set up a double steal, and Thurman Tucker was out trying to score. Mr. Bearden has a single and a double in this series and a very handsome batting average of 667. Cleveland has a lead of 4-3. Warren Spahn still on the mound for the Boston Braves in his second relief role. Here's the pitch. Ball one. 1 ball, no strikes. Here it comes. Foul tip. Bearden went down on his left knee after swinging and tipping it right back against the screen, and the count is 1 ball, 1 strike. This has been one of the most exciting ball games of the entire series. The outfield is just a little to the right of straightaway. Here it comes. A fastball high, and the count is 2 balls, 1 strike. A sign has just gone out to right field, and Vern Bickford and Red Barrett start warming up again for the Boston Braves. Spahn winds up. He pitches. Ball 3. Low outside. 3-1. And Macy steps across the plate and fires one back. Macy's double, by the way, was just about halfway up on the left field wall. Here's the windup. Swing and a miss. Bearden was hopeful that that pitch would be to his liking. And when it came in just above the knees, he swung, and the count now is 3-2. He's knocking the dirt, some of the clay out of his spikes. Bill McKechnie is coaching at third. The first base coach is still Mel Harder. Spahn takes that big windup. He strides, delivers. Strike 3, swinging. That's his second consecutive strikeout, by the way, and his 9th of the past 2 days. He struck out Hegan in the 8th inning. 1 man out, and Bob Kennedy is the batter. Kennedy made an appearance earlier in the series in a batter's role, and he singled and drove in a run. He's a right-handed batter. Strike called. That was a fairly slow pitch. 1 strike the count. Here it comes. Fastball low inside, and the count is 1-1. Kennedy has 1 hit in 1 time at bat and 1 run driven in this series. It was a single. Spahn takes a big windup. Swing and a miss. There was a jug-handle curveball, one of his specialties. He didn't throw it much yesterday. The count now is 1 ball, 2 strikes. The 4th Cleveland run was scored against Spahn, by the way. Kennedy sets himself close to the plate. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. For the second time in as many days, Spahn has struck out 3 consecutive Indians. That's 10 strikeouts for the Buffalo, New York southpaw in 24 hours. He finished up yesterday and richly deserved credit for the win. Larry Doby is the batter. Larry is one of the 3 top batters of the series with 7 hits. He has 2 out of 3 today. He's a left-hander. Strike called. That was a slow pitch that caught the outside, and Doby didn't want to go after it. There are 2 men out. First half of the 9th, Cleveland leading 4-3 in an exciting 6th game. That was high and inside, and the count is 1-1. If you're interested in stealing a look at the last of the 9th, Stanky is slated to lead off, and then probably a pinch hitter for Warren Spahn. Here it comes. Swing and a miss, and Doby fell down. That was a curveball right down in the dirt. It bounced in the dirt, and Doby fell into the ball after he'd completed his swing and missed it. And the ball very nearly bounced up and struck him. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Here it comes. Foul ball. Very nearly another strikeout. As a matter of fact, if it hadn't been for yesterday when Robinson hit a fly ball to left field, Spahn might have his name etched in the record books. Because he struck out 3, then he missed Robinson and struck out 2 more. Here's the windup. Strike 3! 4 straight strikeouts. In an amazing demonstration of pitching magic, Warren Spahn regained his touch and struck out Hegan in the 8th, Bearden, Kennedy, and Doby in the 9th to run to 13 his strikeouts of the past 2 days. Going into the last half of the 9th inning, Cleveland leads 4-3. Right now, with winter coming on, is a good time to start a life-saving flow of food and clothing to some destitute European family through CARE packages. CARE is a non-profit organization approved by your government that guarantees delivery of your gift package to a specific individual in Europe. For $10, you can present 21.5 pounds of nutritious food to any person or family in 15 European countries. Just send $10 to CARE, C-A-R-E, New York, with your name and address and the name and address of the recipient. You will receive a signed receipt upon delivery. Cleveland leads by a 4-3 score, and Eddie Stanky will be the Braves' leadoff batter in the last of the 9th. He's a right-hander. He's walked twice. Bearden's first pitch is low inside, ball 1. The record, incidentally, for the most home runs in a single game in the World Series is Babe Ruth's. That's in answer to a query. 3. Bob Elliott tied the all-time National League mark with 2 yesterday. Bearden delivers. Ball 2. That was letter high outside, and it's 2-0. Bearden has faced 3 batters, and 2 of them have hit the ball extremely well. Knatzer's fly and Macy's double. Here it comes. Strike called. There was to be no denying young Mr. Bearden that time. He fired one right down the middle. And it's 2-1. Bob Feller and Steve Dromak are warming up for Cleveland. The Indians are trying to nurse a 1-run lead in the 9th inning. There goes a high, foul fly ball down the left field line. Kennedy running hard, but he can't get it. It fell out of his reach by about 20 feet, out in what normally would be the Boston Braves bullpen. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Both Keltner and Boudreau tried, but Kennedy was the only one who had any chance whatever. The outfield, with Stanky up, is playing well to the left. And his immediate problem, of course, is to get on base. He wasn't up there to wait Mr. Bearden out. As soon as that first good pitch came over with a count 2-1, he went after it. And now Bearden has him in a 2-2 hole. Bearden winds up. 3-2. That was a curveball that hung high to the outside. Incidentally, it is fairly dark here at Fenway Park. Very cloudy and ominous overhead. But it has been a very happy circumstance that this game went at all. Here it comes. There's a drive foul to left, a wicked line drive that bounces off the facade of the left field boxes. And it's recovered out there by the foul line umpire. Mr. Bearden has at least this edge against the batters in this inning. The darkness, I mean, because visibility handicaps the batter somewhat on such a day as this when the afternoon wears on. Here's the big one. Ball 4. Stanky gets his 3rd walk of the game and his 7th base on balls of the series. There may be a pinch runner. Connie Ryan is going to run for Stanky. And Sibby Sisti will bat for Spahn.
Second, please, for the Braves.
Connie Ryan of New Orleans, Louisiana, is running for Stanky, and Sibby Sisti of Buffalo, New York, a fellow townsman of Warren Spahn, will bat for him. This is Sisti's first appearance at the plate in the series, but he filled in handsomely for Stanky during the period of Eddie's injury. No one out. Ryan on first base. Bearden takes his stretch. Here's the pitch. Foul ball. He tried to bunt it. Cleveland naturally expects the sacrifice, and both Robinson and third baseman Ken Keltner were quick to come in with the intention of covering the plate. 1 strike to count. There is no one out, but Billy Southworth is prepared to risk the percentage opportunity of a bunt and sacrifice Sisti. Ken Keltner is in on the grass, down the third base line. Here it comes. There's the bunt. It's a foul ball, and Hegan throws to first for the double play. Hegan took it right out in front of the plate. It was ruled a fair ball, and then he fired it to first base for the 9th double play for Cleveland in the series. Bearden threw him a knuckleball, perhaps. It's difficult to determine from here, but the double play was 2-3, and all he had to do was wait for Robinson to cover first because Ryan was going on it. 2 men out, and Tommy Holmes the batter. And some of the fans are already beginning to leave, convinced the destiny has been shaped. Strike called. 1 strike to count. From a situation with a runner on first base, no one out, an optimistic situation, trailing as they do by 1 run, 3-4. The Braves now have 2 men out, no one on. Here's the pitch. Foul ball, and that one is coming up here. The count, 2 strikes. Incidentally, Cleveland in this game has had 4 double plays, so they've had 6 of their 9 double plays in support of Bob Lemon and Bearden. There goes a fly ball towards left field. Going back fast is Kennedy. Kennedy gets there, and he takes it. And the Cleveland Indians are the world's champions of 1948. And they are leaping joyously as they go off the field. Bearden is being mobbed, as are Lou Boudreau. And out in center field, Tucker and Kennedy come running in arm. The final score, Cleveland 4 runs, 10 hits, no errors. The Braves, 3 runs, 9 hits, no errors. The winning pitcher, Bob Lemon. The losing pitcher, Big Bill Voiselle. And camera flash bulbs are exploding all over the premises as the Braves, Billy Southworth, congratulates Lou Boudreau, and the Indians have tucked away the bunting in baseball's greatest classics. And now here to review the game and feature some of its highlights is Mel Allen.
The 1948 World Series is over, ladies and gentlemen. On a dark and gloomy day in Boston, the 1948 World Series comes to an end with the sun figuratively shining, as a matter of fact, even blazing, insofar as the Cleveland Indians are concerned. For here, in the wigwam of the Boston Braves, on the banks of the Charles River, the Cleveland Indians have been crowned champions of the baseball world. The second such honor in 28 years. And down below us on the field is a coatless, but wearing just a thin silk shirt, half-sleeved Bill Veeck, hobbling over from his box behind the Cleveland dugout to the runway to move into the Indians clubhouse to help them celebrate their victory. Along with him is the vice president of the Cleveland Indians ball club, Hank Greenberg. You got to take your hat off to guys like Bob Elliott, who sparked his team in a tremendous comeback yesterday to prolong the series. And you've got to take your hat off to a fellow like Lou Boudreau, one of the greatest shortstops you've ever seen in your life. I doubt you'll ever see one any better at any time in the future. Well, we could pick out men here and there. They're all great. They're all wonderful. It was a delightful World Series, although it did get off to a slow start because of the great pitching. And so it comes to an end with the Cleveland Indians, the world champions, ladies and gentlemen. We must add this one other thing, too. Cleveland's 9 double plays in the series, with so many of them today coming through to help them win the world's championship. That's all there is, ladies and gentlemen, as we sign off from Braves Field. We got to mention, as our mind wanders and we look out onto the empty field now, you think of such fellows as Larry Doby, who got so many base hits. Larry Doby and Bob Elliott and Earl Torgerson, all of whom got 7 hits to lead in total hits. But you could go around, pick out each individual, and show his relative value to the overall picture of presenting for American baseball fandom another exciting World Series. We hope that you've enjoyed it, and so fans, that's that. The story of another World Series goes into the record. But Gillette's cavalcade of sports carries on. Every Friday night, we're on the air coast to coast with a major boxing event of the week. Plan to be at Radio Ringside Friday nights and enjoy the fun. Now, this is Mel Allen saying smooth sailing, smooth shaving, and good afternoon from your host, the Gillette Safety Razor Company, and Jim Britt.
Recorded highlights of today's World Series game will be heard over WOR at 11:30 tonight. Stay tuned now for Queen for a Day, which follows. We wish to thank the La Rosa Macaroni Company, sponsors of the Hollywood Theater of Stars, for relinquishing their broadcast time today in favor of the World Series game. This is the Mutual Broadcasting System.